I mean, it's huge. I mean, as we all know, I mean, when you score, people get excited, and when you score at home, people get really excited on the bench. But equally as important to people in the stands. So, we talked about what kind of response we got challenged after last night's game, and we accepted the challenge, and obviously got off to a good start in the first period. And the effort, the commitment, things that we had talked about after last night's game this morning, we went out and executed and did that. So overall, it's a great game. Got the effort. It was just like sort of a mash unit right now. I mean, so keep them putting the puzzles. Get it together. It looks pretty good, and then all of a sudden, take that piece, and put it back together. Okay, it's looking good again.
Week off can't come at a better time.
Yeah, no, it's good for a lot of different reasons, and so it's been a good 6 weeks, good 12 games, and as I said, earlier in the week at the press conference, you find out more about your team after these 2 games, and we certainly found out some things from last night and made adjustments and did some things today better than we did yesterday, and ended up with a real nice victory.
You got a lot of veterans on this team. Are you to the point where you don't worry about how they respond to, bouncing back to, a situation like that, like last night? Or as a coach, are you still is that something you just curious to see how they'll respond?
I mean, it's nice to have veterans. This morning when I woke up early and I'm watching this 8-point buck come across my grass, go onto my driveway, you're thinking the same thing. What are you doing there? It's hunting season. So my son had just showed me a nice 12-point buck his buddy had shot, and I'm thinking of this deer, like, what are you doing there? And sometimes, your veterans are the same thing. So my job and our job as coaching staff is to pick 2 or 3 things on to get them to focus for today's game. And can we focus in on those 3 things and do those 3 things as well as we can? And we picked 2 or 3 things from yesterday's game, because yesterday, at times, we were pretty good. And at times, Minnesota was pretty good. And we went back and forth. One team had over 40 shots. One team was close to 40 shots. And and today is like, okay, we need to be better in 2 or 3 different areas. And we were, and that made a big difference. Obviously, special teams played a role in the game today. So as a coach, you're looking at, how does it look, when we talk about some things, and can we go execute those things? So have some leadership. Even those kids need to understand that, hey, you have to be focused in on some of these little detail things, and if you do those really well, you'll be rewarded. And today we did those things.
Were they not doing those things, and that's why you needed that early timeout?
No, that was we were caught on a line change, and it got extended on one face-off, and then it was then said, "Nah, I'm not comfortable right now." I mean, it's like got off to a great start. I don't want to give one up like we did last night on a face-off, because you just take a risk there. So early on, take that, just get them refocused. Great start. Let's keep it going.
How close was it not being able to go? It seemed like there was some concern before the game on that.
It was give and take. Yeah, it was about a 2-hour window there where we were sort of like, okay, what are we going to do? And do we go to plan B? But we were going to let her go out for warm-up, see how she felt, and then we said, hey, okay. So
given that, she held her
yeah,
ground.
and if you're a competitor, these kids, these high-end kids they're competitors, and so when they get challenged, they want to accept the challenge, and so she wanted to play in the worst way. She was vocal about that, and so, but again, from our standpoint, it's also a safety concern. So as long as you get medically cleared and the doctors are good with, then okay, let's go out there and warm-ups and see how you feel, and then make a decision at that point. So, but she's a competitor. I mean, she didn't like the way the third period went yesterday, and it's like getting thrown off a horse. The sooner I jump on it, the better I'm probably off going to be. And so she came out today and showed her competitiveness, and gave us a chance to win.
What were you reminding the team right before the third period? Since yesterday the third period was not to your guys' liking, what was kind of locker room talk?
Well, it's, we talked about playing a whole game, and yesterday there was ebbs and flows to both sides of the game, and so this one was like, can we do what we've done for 40 minutes? Because we got 40 minutes of nothing. I mean, so can we come out in the third period and do that? And we take one penalty and they score on it, and then we take another one right away, and we were fortunate that we killed that one off, because if they happen to score again on it in a short period of time, the momentum really shifts, and now you're going to play a team again on their toes and capable of scoring. So, there's little swings in that, but overall, other than the couple penalties we took, the third period is pretty good, especially the last 7 or 8 minutes where we took care of the puck, made things difficult for them, and finished the game off in a strong setting.
Defense has been a little floppier than is characteristic for you all. Just the passes, the clearances, little.
Yeah.
Lately. What do you have any, I guess, thoughts on that, or why that might be? And I imagine that will be an off-week focus.
Well, the off week's going to try to get healthy, because prior to the game, obviously Murphy didn't play today, so now it's like you're down to 4. The second night they played heavy minutes last night. You got to play smart. You got to manage your shifts. But we got a couple kids that like to get up ice a lot, and so you got to pick and choose your spots wisely. So it's a game where you have to manage your game, but they did a pretty good job. I mean, Nucio gets her first goal. I mean, so the whole bench was excited about that, and obviously KK and Layla played a big part in it. But quietly, Viv on the last power play go by Kelly makes a great read, makes a nice pass down, and it's in the back of the net. So sometimes when you play a lot, you play better. And today, they were going to have to play a lot, and they played better. So in the whole scheme of things, to answer your question, say, yeah, we got to get a little tighter. You got to get a little tighter. Sometimes it gets loose, but sometimes the other teams makes you in that position. So depending on how they're playing, but no, overall, you get Potter back, we get Murphy back, then we can settle in on some things and try to tighten things up.
Do you think you were close to playing tight like that the way you went to with some of the sustained possession you had in the second period?
No, we need to get healthy, and get everybody in for a chunk of practices and get back, to where I think we can get to go. So today, I like I told, we got challenged, and I give a lot of kids a lot of credit. They came out and they met the challenge and got things going right away. And even in the third period, when they scored in the power play goal, we kept playing that way and responded in a real positive fashion. So yeah, it was.
Would you say you're optimistic about Murphy, about Potter, about
They'll be back. They'll be back soon.
We're coming back soon. Okay.
Now you give me Webster's definition of soon, and we can connect better. Murphy, I don't know a lot about Murphy. We'll get better feel early in the week. I think Potter's in a good position. Hopefully we get her on the ice, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get some good practices in, and then, obviously you got a game week coming up the following week. So, but she's coming along well, and, then the other kids, Maggie's, she ended up getting a puck here and ended up getting stitched up and came back out and played really well, even though, not a lot of times these kids get cut. They got face mask on, and all of a sudden she takes, a puck up here, and the next thing you know, she's at the end of the bench, and they're trying to get it to stop bleeding, and it's, yeah, so.
When's the last time you've seen something like that?
Somebody get cut?
Like that, like up
In the face, not in the face. You don't see it too often in the face. You might see every once in a while in the neck, or somebody gets a skate somewhere in the leg, in the back of the shin pads, but not very often up in the face.
Cassie was just like a block that missed
She
some
blocked a
pads.
shot, yeah, and then, so we didn't know what her status was, but she came out and gave us her 8 or 9 minutes in the period and played well, so she could be sore now.
Oh, I bet.
Got a few days. Yeah. All right, thanks again. Yep, enjoy.
Questions for Kirsten?
Coach was talking a lot about responsive effort last night for you guys to come out and score 2 in the first couple minutes. What did that tell you about the mentality today, and then how much you want to push towards getting it done?
Yeah, I think yesterday was obviously not our best game, especially response and when they would score and our response back. So we kind of knew we had to pick it up and turn it around and bring back Badger hockey today, and that's what we did from the drop of the puck. I mean, us in the locker room, you could tell it was going to be a good day and a good game. I mean, we just had the energy we do normally, and everybody was fired up to go, and we knew we weren't letting anywhere close from what yesterday happened today. So from the drop of the puck, we kind of had our jump, and we were playing Badger hockey from the get-go.
What do you think you and your teammates cleaned up
Yeah, I just think we were more disciplined overall. We were more disciplined in the D zone, more disciplined about getting pucks in deep, more disciplined on the forward check, more disciplined on the back check. I think it was just overall we were more disciplined and more consistent throughout the entire game.
How'd you feel getting that goal after being out for so long?
Yeah, it's nice to get one in LeBron too, especially against the Gophers. But I mean, it was an unbelievable pass by Cassie as well. So it was just a good setup and nice to finally finish.
The physical play turned up even a little bit more in this series than, I mean, it's obviously been that way with you and the Gophers for a while, but it seems like now that everyone feels like maybe that there's a little bit more that's acceptable physical wise.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just in general, like within our league, it's pretty physical. But I mean, I feel like us and the Gophers are a pretty skilled team, so the physicality is not as utilized, I guess. But I think today it definitely showed a lot more. I wouldn't say it was crazy physical yesterday, but today it definitely got a little bit more chippy as the game went on. But it's just what you got to do. You got to battle through it. And I mean, when we're going against the Gophers, it's you know what to expect. So.
You guys are lucky to not have to have response games and have to come back from a loss, especially as one of the older players and with the youngers. Like, what were you guys talking about in terms of like this is almost a brand new situation for some of the players, right? Like, you guys are just really lucky to not have to do that a lot, which can sometimes make it harder.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach said it best earlier today. It's a new day, and that's kind of what we had to do. Is we had to have that mindset and not forget about yesterday, but just know that we were going to come out and play our game from the get-go, and that yesterday happened, and there's nothing we can do about it. And being able to come out Badger hockey at drop the puck, and I mean, once you wipe that away and kind of get our confidence back and get that energy going in the locker room, it's what was created out there today. So.
Coming back from
A couple of games off, did you feel like you had your legs a little more under you today than yesterday?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously being a week off the ice isn't the funnest thing in the world. So especially when you're kind of in the thick of the first half of the season. So I mean, yesterday was definitely took some time to get going a little bit, but then today just felt right back in the groove of it.
Given the way yesterday went versus how today went, is this a statement? Is this sort of a statement type win? What's kind of your perspective on? I mean, obviously it's key to win regardless, but was it important to win kind of convincingly to come back this way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have such a talented group, and we have so many skilled players down the lineup that if we can put in the puck in the net that many times, I mean, that's not a bad response at all, especially with what happened yesterday. So it was just kind of showing that we are that offensive team, we are that skilled team, and that our depth is there through and through, even though we had a little bit of a hiccup yesterday.
The Lions have obviously been kind of mix and match with people going out in game, 4 games, and everything like that. How do you guys kept keeping this together of just seeing someone go out and just like, all right, you were part of it, the next person goes in and try to keep it moving?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a testament to the depth on our team. I mean, you can take a player who's played 4 third-line minutes the last 2 years and put him on the first line, and they're putting up multiple points in a weekend. Like, it's very impressive to see that what we have in this group through and through our lineup. I mean, you can trust anybody on the roster, no matter who goes down, how many go down. I mean, you know somebody's about to step up and create the opportunities that are needed.
How are you feeling going into next week with the rivalry game?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely crazy to have to kind of flip your brain over. I mean, it's like today, like this weekend was such a big weekend, especially with the border battle and everything, and then having to kind of flip your head into USA stuff. And it's exciting because now we get to play games within that, like instead of just having camps now. So definitely exciting, but gonna need to take a little bit to kind of get into that mindset going into next week, just because it's definitely a bit of a switch up.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yep.
Go.
Series more taxing physically or mentally?
Pretty physically, yeah. With some numbers down, I think we're definitely feeling it in that way. Mentally, it's always a challenge. They're a hard opponent to play, and they give us their best, and we give them we give them our best. But it was definitely physically taxing this weekend. Yeah.
How did it feel to start off that third period with the goal?
Sorry, one more time. Sorry.
How did it feel to start off that third period with the goal?
Good, yeah. It kept the momentum going. Yeah, we were just building off every goal we had, and it was a lot different today, of course, as the score showed. But yeah, it felt good for sure.
As far as compare yesterday to today, what did you guys clean up? What was better from a playing standpoint that went into the game?
Yeah, I think the key was our start. I mean, first shift we put one in the back of their net, which was awesome, and then we kept building off that. The momentum was just huge for us. We were consistent for a whole 60 minutes, and that at the end of the day was why we came on top.
Did anything have to be said between last night and today? And was it kind of nice to not have a whole lot of time to sit on that last night, just come back out, wake up, and play hockey today?
Yeah, honestly, it was good. It was a quick turnaround, but it was more so a message of being more consistent and starting and finishing the same way. Because yesterday we had a good start. It's just we need to be more consistent. So I think it was great that we had a quick turnaround and then we got right to playing our game.
Obviously, it's important to win regardless, but is there any significance to winning in convincing fashion, like you and your teammates? Was that important for you as a captain to kind of see this team come back and really kind of put maybe an exclamation point on and bouncing back?
Yeah, and I think it's good, honestly, early on in the year too, like having those losses, as much as they suck, it's good adversity for us, and we responded the way we wanted to, and bouncing back like that just shows the strength of our team, and we can come back from anything.
A couple times in both games, really, where their forecheck made a lot of pressure and caused some passes that didn't end up where you wanted them to go, wherever we wanted them to go. What can you guys learn out of that, and how you respond to that, and what maybe the safe plays are versus the plays you kind of look back after?
Yeah, their forecheck was very good, and they're making it hard on us. So learning from that, we can watch a lot of film, look back at it, and know it's early on. And again, this is a learning opportunity for us to build as we go. And later on in the season, when it really matters, we're gonna be crisp and better on our breakouts and stopping their forecheck, because it was really good. Yeah.
Switching gears for next week, you're obviously going more USA. So how are you feeling mentally about switching those gears?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier in another interview, kind of flipping the switch when we're with USA, tune in there when we're with Badger hockey. So when we're there, we'll be present with them, and it'll be a fun opportunity to play Canada for the rivalry. It's always so competitive and back and forth, so looking forward to that. But once we're back after those 2 games, it's Badger hockey again, so kind of flipping the mindset, yeah.
With the way that Mark switches lines and then also the injuries, so not just game to game, but maybe shift to shift. What sort of as a captain, what do you see in your team, the ability to sort of always trust whoever is going to take up those roles? It seems like Marianne go from third line center to first line center when they go get stitches or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about the team? How do you all approach things that you guys are prepared for those situations?
Yeah, it just shows like our team is very deep. Anyone can play with anyone, fill any role, and it's so important for us to have that adaptability. And you see, Pick filled that role really well and did the job, kept the momentum going, and it was awesome. I mean, Maggie made the return to the game and stepped back into her position. But yeah, it's great to see, and it's an awesome reflection of our group here.
Is it hard to find chemistry or do any of that when sort of every shift you might be out there with different people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hugest thing for us is we trust one another so much, and our coaches just keep instilling that in us and talking to us about it. You just gotta trust everyone's gonna fill the role, do their job, no matter if they're stepping up, like you said, from a third line to a first line, or you're going on a PK and you normally don't do that. So it's just having that trust in one another, and that's why we're so successful. Yeah.
Combining the two, Robo likes to talk about you all being predictable for one another on USA, but it kind of sounds like that's what you're saying here too.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, that's a huge factor.
When you're going through that stretch, early mid-third period, killing penalties on the power play, and then it does settle itself down like the final 10 minutes. How do you get yourself and as a team settled down, just go back, play 5-on-5, not engage in the rest?
Yeah, sometimes it can get tough, like when they're trying to get in our head, or it's the end of the game and maybe they're throwing some hits and retaliating, and then obviously we want to feed back into that. But we got to do our best to stay level-headed. Obviously we had a good, we were up by a couple, but yeah, it's just kind of grounding the group, and yeah, the huge kills we had, and then just being like, okay, reset 5-on-5, and no matter what the refs do, no matter what they do, we just have to ignore the noise.